Hi everyone, it's Nadia from YARNutopia. Today we're making the silly project of an avocado, a half and a half, making a girl and a boy avocado. This is so much fun to make and it's such a silly little amigurumi project, so I wanted to share it with all of you. So I'm going to get into the supplies we need and then we'll make these cute little amigurumi avocados. So we are going to need, the yarn I'm using is Red Heart Yarns. This main color is lettuce, and this is with love. This is very soft and very pretty, and that's my inside of the avocado. The outside of the avocado is just in this patty green. This is just a hunter green, dark green color, and then the seed part of the male avocado is this warm brown color. So you're just gonna need 3 colors today: the seed color, the outside color, and the inside color. And then that's a 10 ply size 4 worsted weight medium yarn. It's a super saver style yarn, and it's a worsted weight size 4 medium, so you can use any type of yarn that you have lying around to make an amigurumi style project. We are also going to be stuffing these with some polyfill, so you will need some polyfill to stuff these. I am also using some felt and some tacky glue to make the faces. If you want to make faces, you don't have to though, but I'm using just regular tacky glue and some felt to cut out just these little pieces for eyes and a mouth and eyes and a mustache here for the faces, but you don't have to do that. That's just optional. Today we're crocheting these pieces with an E hook, which is 3.5 millimeters, so make sure you have that. You can use a D hook, which is 3 millimeters, or you can go to up to a G hook, which is 4 millimeters. So that's really up to you. Just know if you use a smaller hook, this will become smaller, and if you use a bigger hook, these will turn out bigger. So this size of these avocados with the 3.5 millimeter hook turned out to be 9 centimeters long, which is like 3.5 inches long, and about 2.5 inches wide at the widest part here, which is about 7 centimeters wide. There we go. So those are the measurements. You're also going to need a scissors, a yarn needle, and a stitch marker, which I'm just using a random piece of yarn extra for a stitch marker. You can use a legit stitch marker if you have one, but yarn needle is going to be used to sew the pieces together and sew in some ends, and obviously scissors is to cut our yarn. So those are all of the supplies you're going to need for this project. Now before we begin, there are links in the description of this video. So there is a link to the written pattern for these cute little avocados. There's also a link to my Facebook and Instagram, so if you make this project, make sure to share it on Facebook and on Instagram so I can see your cute little amigurumi projects, and make sure you hashtag YARNutopia on Instagram so I can see them there. You can also follow me on Snapchat, and lastly I have to say a big thank you to my dad, Fuad, Azmat, for taking the time to make this video with us. He is our videographer, editor, and photographer for all of our videos, so make sure you subscribe to our channel so you can get the update on when he posts our next video. So now let's get started and make these cute little amigurumi avocados. Alright, let's start out with the darker green color. We are going to make the back of the avocado, so let's start out with a slip knot. Put your short end over that long end, fold this down, and then pull your long end through and pull tight, and there's your slip knot. Insert your hook, and we can begin. So let's start out by chaining 2, so yarn over and pull through 1 and 2, and then go into that second chain from the hook and put 6 single crochets in there. So the loop on the hook doesn't count as a chain, so count 1 and 2 right in that second chain from the hook. Go in, yarn over and pull through, and then yarn over and pull through both of those loops on your hook. Okay, that's a single crochet. So go back into that same chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. So that's 2. Go back into that chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2. That's 3. Here's 4, 5, and 6. So there's 6 single crochets for round 1. Now I'm going to put a different yarn in here to mark my rounds, because we're working in continuous rounds. We're not even slip stitching or anything. So I'm going to put a stitch marker or another piece of yarn in here. You can use a legit stitch marker if you have one. And we are going to be working in the back loops only. So if you watched my video yesterday of the mushroom, you will see that we worked in the back loops of this work, and we're working in continuous round. So we usually in crochet we work through both loops like this, but this round, or this whole project actually, this whole avocado, we are going to be working in the back loops only. So for round 2, we're going to make an oval shape. We're not working making a round circle. We're making an oval shape. So we are actually going to put 3 single crochets in this next stitch right here. So count 1, another one, go back in there for 2, and another one in there for 3. Now this next stitch right here gets 2 single crochets in there. So 1, and go back in for 2. Okay, and then this next stitch right here gets only 1 single crochet, just like that. And then we're going to go into the next stitch here. We're going to put 3 single crochets in there. 1, go back in, 2, go back in, 3. Go into the next stitch right here and put 2 single crochets in there. 1 and 2, and then only put 1 single crochet in the last stitch right here. And now we're back to the beginning. So on round 2, you should have 12 single crochets. So if you need to, count back around. Move your stitch marker up, just like that. On to the next round. We're going on to round 3 now. We are going to single crochet into this next stitch right here. Okay, that's our first stitch of this next round here, going on to round 3. So that was 1 single crochet in there. Now we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. We're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. And we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. 1 and 2. Awesome. Now we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next 3 stitches. So just put 1 single crochet in this one, 1 single crochet in this next one, and 1 single crochet in this next one. Okay. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2. Now there's 2 stitches left. We're just going to put 1 single crochet in each one of those. So 1 and 1. Awesome, that was round 3. So you should have 18 single crochets at the end of round 3. Move your stitch marker up, go on to round 4. We are going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch, so this first stitch of this next round right here. Put 1 single crochet in there, and put 1 single crochet in the next stitch, just like that. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, 1 and 2, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Now we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And now we are going to put 1 single crochet in each of the next 4 stitches. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. We're going to increase here, and then in the next stitch only put 1 single crochet. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then only 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Then put 2 single crochets in this next stitch here, and there should be 2 stitches left. We're going to put 1 in each of the next 2 stitches here. So 1 single crochet in each of these last 2 stitches. And that was round 4. So at the end of round 4, you should have 24 single crochets. So if you want to count back around, you can start to see this oval shape taking place here. So now we're going to move our stitch marker up and go on to round 5. For round 5, we're going to single crochet in 3 stitches. So just put 1 single crochet in this stitch, 1 single crochet in this next stitch, and 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Then we're going to put 2 single crochets in this next stitch here, 1 and 2. Then we're going to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and now we're going to actually put 1 single crochet in the next 7 stitches. So count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And remember, throughout this whole thing, we're working in the back loops only. That way you can see this ribbing effect is really nice here. So now the next step is to put 2 single crochets in the next stitch. Then we have to put 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Oopsie. Then 2 single crochets in the next stitch. And then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and now you should have 4 stitches left. We're going to put 1 single crochet in each of the last 4 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. And there's our stitch marker. We're back to the beginning. So that was round 5. So you should have 30 single crochets on round 5. And that's a nice oval shape. So now we're done increasing. Rounds 6, 7, 8, and 9. So the next 4 rounds, I'm moving my stitch marker up, working in the back loops only. We're only putting one single crochet in each stitch around. So only 1 stitch in each stitch for rounds 6, 7, 8, and 9. Okay, so now I won't make you watch me do all of these rounds, all 4 of these rounds. Just do 4 rounds with 1 single crochet in each stitch around. Once I finish round 9, I'll meet you up and then we'll go on to the next step together. Alright, so I did rounds 6, 7, 8, and 9 off camera here, so this is what your piece should look like. It's just the back of an avocado, basically. If you need to, stretch it out, make it look like an oval or an avocado shape. And then when you're ready to fasten off, we're going to go under both loops of the next stitch and slip stitch. So yarn over, pull through, and pull through. And then to fasten this off, I'm going to chain 1. I'm going to cut my yarn kind of long to use for sewing. So I'm just going to cut my yarn and then I'm going to pull that all the way through and then pull that tight, remove that stitch marker, and there's the back of the avocado. So this is 1/2. So what I need you to do is actually rewind this and make another one exactly like this for the other side of the avocado. So I have 2 of these done, so this is how it's going to be, just like 1/2 and the other half. So now we're going to make the other piece to kind of close this up, and then we'll stuff this all up and finish our avocado. So what we need to do, I'm going to make the one with the seed first. So grab some brownish colored yarn for the seed to start off. Grab your hook and make a slip knot with this warm brown color. So put your short end over your long end, fold this down, and then pull this through. So this part, we're going to be making the inside of the avocado, 1/2 of it. So once you finish making, both of these halves, just set these aside, and then we'll make this. So now I've made my slip knot. Insert your hook, and we can start. So let's start out by chaining 2. So yarn over, pull through, 1 and 2, and then in that second chain from the hook, put 6 single crochets in there. So go in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's 1. Go back in, yarn over, pull through, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. So that's 2, this is 3, here's 4, 5, and last one here, 6. Now, just like I did for the piece of the avocado, the back half of it, I'm putting a stitch marker in there, just like I did for that other piece. And now we're going to work in continuous rounds, again in the back loops only. I am going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around for a total of 12 stitches. So 1 and 2. Next stitch, back loop only, 3 and 4. Next stitch, back loop only, 5 and 6. Here's 7 and 8, and 9 and 10, and this last stitch here gets 11 and 12. So you should have 12 single crochets after round 2. Going on to round 3 now, we are going to move our stitch marker up, and we are going to put 2 single crochets in this next stitch. So right here, back loop only, put 2 single crochets in there, then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, then 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next stitch, and every other stitch is going to be 2 single crochets, and every other stitch is going to have 1 single crochet. So we're just repeating that sequence. So 2 single crochets in this next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next. Okay, I just have to repeat that 2 more times here. So 2 single crochets in the next stitch, and then 1 single crochet in the next. 2 in the next, and 1 in the last here. So now we're back to the beginning. So that finishes off round 3, and we are going to, let's see here, go up to the next round. Rounds 4 and 5 are just putting 1 single crochet in each stitch around for a total of 18 single crochets in each round. So rounds 4 and 5, I'm just going to do that off camera. I won't make you watch me do both rounds. So just single crochet in each stitch around for rounds 4 and 5. When I finish round 5, right when I'm at my last stitch, I'll meet you up because we're actually going to change color. Alright, at this point I just finished round 5 here of the inside of this avocado. Now I just need to put 1 more stitch to finish round 5, and if you are not changing color, meaning if you're making the other half that does not have the seed in it, just continue on working with the same color. If you're on this side as me with the seed side, we're going to change color at this point. So if instead of finishing off your very last stitch of round 5 with the same color, if you're changing color here, we are going to go into this next stitch, yarn over with the same color, okay? And for those of you who are going on to making the side that has all the same color on it, then ignore this section right here. But we're going to change color right now. I'm going to hook on my green color and then pull this through to finish that last stitch off, okay? Then I'm going to now work with this new green color, and we are going to work round 6, okay? We're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. So now if you are not changing color, just continue on now working this part now. We are going to put, for round 6, I'm going to move my stitch marker up, and we're going to put 2 single crochets in each stitch around, just like so. So just go in the back loops only. Okay. Now if you're not changing color, you don't have to worry about changing color, and if you are changing color, just do exactly what I did. But both sides of this avocado are exactly the same. That's why I'm saying that right now. And in the future of this video, in a few minutes, you'll realize that we are making these exactly the same. However, the one without changing color is the inside, the center here is going to be pushed in like that, and it's going to be all green. This piece right here is going to be pushed out like it's a seed, to look like an actual seed, and we change color. So you can see that. And then I don't have to show you both pieces, you know, because they're exactly the same at the same time. You know, I don't have to show you both pieces, like showing you how to make them, because they are exactly the same. So you can just rewind this later when we are finished with this piece and make another one. So I'm just putting 2 single crochets in each stitch around. This will have 36 total single crochets on round 6. So then I'll just meet you up when we'll make round 7 together. Alright, so I just put 2 single crochets in each stitch around. I do need to cut that old color. If you didn't change color, don't worry about this part here. But when you did change color for the seed part here, we are tying these 2 colors in a knot, but you don't have to sew in any ends because this will be on the inside of your avocado and nobody will even see that. So I'm just going to put those in the back there. And now continuing on, going on to round 7, I am going to move my stitch marker up. And now we're going to put 2 single crochets in each of the first 10 stitches. So 2 single crochets in the first 10 stitches for a total of 20 single crochets in the first 10 stitches. So 1, 2, next stitch, 3 and 4, next one, 5 and 6, next one, 7, 8, next stitch gets 9 and 10, halfway there, 11 and 12, next stitch, 13 and 14, next stitch, 15 and 16, and our next stitch, 17 and 18, and this next stitch here, 19 and 20, okay? So you'll get this kind of little ruffly look right now, but don't worry, it'll flatten out later. Now in the rest of these stitches around, we are going to just put 1 single crochet in each of those. Okay, and then at the end of here, let's see here, I believe we'll have 46 stitches at the end of this round, but I will count that and I will let you know. I'm just going to put 1 single crochet in the rest of these stitches and then I'll meet you up for the next step. Alright, I do in fact have 46 stitches total. So now going on to the next round, actually it's just a half a round basically. We're just putting 1 single crochet in each, oops, let me move my stitch marker up, silly me. We're going to put only 1 single crochet in each of the next 20 stitches. And then we're going to fasten off. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, here's 6, 7, 8, 9, oopsie, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20. So now we're on the other side of this little piece here. So now we're going to fasten off, so go into the next stitch under both loops, just like that. Yarn over, pull through and through for a slip stitch. And then to fasten this off, I'm just going to chain 1, cut this yarn, pull that through, pull it tight. You can see I cut that short because we don't need to use that for sewing because we cut a long piece for the back of it. And then you want to kind of stretch this out to make it look avocado-like. Also, what I need you to do is rewind this video and just this portion, making this piece, and instead of changing color, we're going to use all just the same color green. Okay, so don't use the brown when I use the brown, and then just make this exactly the same, and then we're going to actually, instead of having this pop out for that side, we're going to push it in. And I'll make mine off camera. It's exactly the same as this, just do not change color. So that's the only difference. So the stitch counts and everything are the same. So I will make mine off camera and then I'll meet you up and we'll start sewing these pieces together. Alright, so I made my other piece exactly the same as this one, except I changed the color. I just used the same green color throughout the whole piece. So now we have these two pieces and these two pieces. So now what we're going to do is attach them. So grab a backing and the inside of an avocado. Okay, and we're going to take our long end and our yarn needle, and we're going to start sewing all the way around. So you want to line this up so that the oval shape fits this oval shape. And there are 10 more stitches on this piece than there are on this piece. So there's actually 16, I believe. There's 30 stitches around this one and 46 on this one. So we're going to have to double up a few of them. So what we're going to do is go through, let's see where we should start, right here. I'm going to go through this stitch here. Okay, and I'm going to whip stitch around this piece. So I'm going to go into this stitch and this next stitch here. Okay, then this stitch and this next stitch here. Now what I'm actually going to do, since there are more stitches on this piece than there are on this piece, I'm going to go through the same stitch on this one, but I'm going to go in the next stitch on this one. And every few stitches I'm going to do that. So on this next stitch, I'm going to go in the next stitch and the next stitch. And then I'm going to go into the next stitch and the next stitch. And now I'm going to actually go into the same stitch here, but the next stitch up here. Okay, and then I'm just going to go in the next stitch and the next stitch. And this next stitch and this next stitch. And now I'm going to go in this same stitch down here and this stitch right here. Okay, so I'm just going to sew this all together, but just, you know, even this out a little bit with your sewing, because there are only 30 stitches on this piece and there's 46 on this piece. So you want to really even them out. Make sure that you sew them so one side isn't all like bunched up or anything. So just sew it together, just like this. When there's a little bit of space, like an inch of space left, I'm going to have to stuff this piece. And then once I stuff it, I can finish. So I'll meet you up when I'm about to stuff this piece. Okay, so I have just a little piece left here that needs to be sewn closed, but when you're doing the one that's just plain green on the inside, I actually want to keep this pushed in, and when you stuff it, this might push out, and then obviously it doesn't look like an avocado. So we want it to be pushed in, so what we're going to do is actually take that straggler that's in the inside here, okay, that long one in the inside, or if you have just an extra piece of yarn, just yarn your needle with a piece of yarn, okay, just a tiny piece, and we're going to sew that to the back on the inside. So let me get my yarn needle figured out here. There we go. So yarn your needle with that, and then go to the center inside and go underneath a few stitches, but don't make sure you can't see it on the other side here. Okay, I'm just going underneath a couple of stitches here, a few stitches, okay, and I'm going to pull tight so you can see that that middle of that pushes inward right there. Then I'm going to go in a few other stitches, okay, and then kind of just tie it in a knot. So go through that loop there. Okay, that way that middle there stays inward toward this piece. Okay, and then you can stuff it. You can just kind of stretch it out so that it is able to be stuffed. And speaking of stuffing, let's stuff this piece because there's not much space left to sew the outside. And we're just going to go around that middle there. Now if you're stuffing the piece that obviously that has the seed on it, you want that to be stuffed and pushed out, so you don't have to worry about, you know, sewing anything on the inside or anything like that. But just stuff this piece and get that polyfill around it. Make sure you shape it and manipulate it to actually look like an avocado. Okay, because when you stuff this piece, it could turn out to looking like something obviously different. So you want to make sure that you stuff it and then play around with it, shape it, and make it look like it's an avocado. There we go. Awesome. And then we can yarn our needle again with that straggler that we've been using for sewing. And we can sew the rest of this together. Okay, so I'm going to go into this next stitch, just like that. Okay, and yeah, you'll have polyfill everywhere, but don't worry, you'll clean it up, and then we'll be good to go. So let me just get through just these few stitches here. I just have a few. Oh, I have more than I was supposed to. I noticed that when you sew every other one twice, then you should have enough, but I think I messed up on one of these, but that's okay. There's just 2 stitches here. Okay, and then when you want to fasten off, we're going through a couple stitches, keeping our finger in that loop, and then coming back around through that loop. Oopsie. Through that loop, there we go. And then pull tight to sew in that end. And then we're going to shove this through to the other side, pull it tight, cut our yarn, stretch this out, and shape our avocado to make it actually look like an avocado. Oh, how cool! There we go. Awesome. So now do the same exact thing for the other one, and except obviously you don't have to sew that in, but I did that off camera, so this is what it should look like. Okay, and when you put them together, they should fit together nicely. Okay, just like that. There's a big avocado there. So there it is. So now if you want to, optionally, you can add faces to this and make it more fun and play-like. So I have some cut out felt. I just cut some felt here, and I'm placing, I'm going to place it on here, and then I'm going to glue it down. Just, I have pink for lips and 2 eyes here, so I just cut this out of felt, and then I am going to glue this down with some tacky glue. There's a little mustache for the guy and 2 little eyes, so we have little faces. So I'm going to glue those on just with this regular tacky glue here. I'm going to do that off camera, and once my faces are on, I'll meet you up when my little avocados are finished. Alright, there it is. These 2 avocado pieces are complete. Thank you so much for watching and learning how to make these. They turned out so fabulous. You will have to shape these, but they are so much fun. They can be used for food, crocheted food, or just for play, or cute little Valentine for the one you love. So thanks so much for watching and learning how to make these this little fun project. I hope you enjoyed it. Leave a comment to this video, subscribe to my channel, and share your work on Facebook. And I will see you next time. Happy hooking!